And I want to say good morning.
Good morning.
And do I have your permission for you to be fully participating with me this morning?
Yes.
Yes, you all are so fabulous. So I gave you a few things this morning, yes?
Yes.
One of them is a permission card. One of them is a prescription card. Another item that I gave you is a heart charm. Another thing that I gave you was a stress ball, right? I gave you a stress ball. Another thing that I gave you was a rubber band. And during that time, I asked you to pick a color. It was either pink, blue, green, or orange. And you all picked your colors, correct?
Yes.
Nobody else made that decision for you. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, it is. I want to share with you what those colors symbolize and why I gave you them in a form of a rubber band. You ready?
Yes.
How many of you picked blue? Wow! Blue stands for that you like to have fun. Absolutely. Yes. Who picked green? Woo! You are a go-getter. Yes, you are. You like to get things done. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, Annie, that is true. And who picked orange? You overthinkers, you.
Overthinkers?
Overthinkers. Is that true?
I think it is.
It is true, yes? Yes. And nobody picked pink, but pink stands for the peacemakers of our world. So was I pretty accurate? Yes. The reason I gave you them in a form of a rubber band is for you always to be reminded to be flexible in life. To learn how to deal with things on a different level. When things aren't going exactly the way that you like them to go, we need to what I call pause. Give ourselves time to think about the challenge that's going on in our life. And possibly just be flexible. Change a little bit. Doesn't that make sense? So whenever you look at those rubber bands, you will remember what kind of personality you are. You're fun, you're a go-getter, you're an overthinker, or you're a peacemaker. You always could remember now, when you look at your colored rubber bands, how special you are and how much of an impact and a difference you can make in your world. Do you think that things would be different? Yes. So let me introduce myself. Thank you so much, Sonia, for that beautiful introduction. My name is Lyn-Dee Eldridge. I am your Chief Happiness Officer of the Happiness Jungle. I am an author. My 2 books that I have authored in, and I have co-authored in many, and there are 2 more books that are coming out this year that I am authoring. One of them is Tears of Fears Behind Closed Doors. This is my journey with domestic violence. Has anybody ever been in a relationship where it wasn't very, very pleasant and it was hurtful mentally, physically, sexually? Well, my book is my journey about domestic violence, but it's not a woe's me book. It's how to get out of it with a better mindset to appreciate what we went through. So that was my first book in 2009. My second book that I'm sharing with you is Squeeze My Tatas. You're only 1 mammogram away from knowing. This is my journey with the breast cancer. It's not a woe's me. It's sharing my journey with all the obstacles that have gone on in my life during this time and how I became more joyful and appreciating the purpose of why I had the breast cancer. So those are my two books. I enjoy in life to be able to look at all of my challenges for purpose. Not why me, not why is this happening to me, but with more of a healthier mindset of purpose. So during 2017, how many of us have ever experienced a really bad year? A really bad time in our lives where things just didn't seem like they were going right. Pick up your stress balls right now, because I want us to realize that this is the time where we need to relieve our stresses, right? So in 2017, I came down to South Florida. I was having a little bit of relationship challenges with my former husband, and we were separated. And I formed the Happiness Jungle entity in 2016. In 2017, I decided that I wanted to come down and visit my mom, who lives in Sunrise, Florida, and promote the Happiness Jungle entity. Little did I know, things were not going to go the way that I planned. How many of you have ever experienced it didn't go the way you planned? And those are the times where, again, we need to understand what's going on around us and not react. At this time, not respond, but pause. My mother became very, very sick. She's 85 years old, and she's one mean woman. Only 12% of her heart is working, but she's still with us today. And I became the caretaker of my mom, which meant that I completely put my life on pause, on hold. I canceled over 21 paid speaking engagements throughout the whole Eastern Coast. And for 10 months, I took care of my mom. I promised my mom that I will grant her wish until I could not grant them any longer. That was fair. My mom is now in an absolutely wonderful assisted living in Plantation, Florida, and doing very, very well. But I wasn't expecting that event to happen. There was one speaking engagement that I refused to cancel, and it was up in New Hampshire, and it was for families in transition. Can everybody feel that?
Yes.
And I knew that if I could get there, I could impact many from the young to the old. So I got a caretaker, and her name is Sonia. And Sonia was able to step in so I could go to New Hampshire. Now, I lived in New Hampshire for 14 years, and that is where my health insurance is. I figured, well, why not go ahead and get my yearly checkup? That makes sense. I felt great. Nothing was wrong. I just figured I should go for my yearly checkup. How many of you go for your yearly checkups? Thank you. We should never miss anything when it comes to our health. We should never put it on the back burner either. While I was there, I had a mammogram. When I finally had my doctor's appointment several days later, it was a very pleasant visit. Until I heard the words, "Lyn-Dee, there was something on your mammogram. We're so grateful that you do your mammograms here so we can compare them right away. We want to do another mammogram, though, just to make sure that there is something there. May not be anything at all." I said, okay. And at that time, that is when I found out I had the breast cancer. And I was so blessed because I found out at the very, very beginning stages of stage 1. Can we say amen?
Amen.
And all I had was a lumpectomy, and they removed lymph nodes to check to make sure that the cancer did not spread anywhere else. And I am very happy to share with each and every one of you today that I am 1.5 years cancer-free.
All right.
Thank you. During that time of me going through the surgery for the breast cancer, My former husband and I got divorced when I was in my 3rd week of radiation. Do you think life was getting in my way a little bit? Yeah, it did. But I never looked at it like, why is all of this happening to me? Why is my marriage crumbling? Why did I get the breast cancer? How is all of this going to help me be better? I never thought that for 1 second. A matter of fact, somebody said to me, I'm so sorry that you're sick. I said, I'm sick? I'm not sick. And they said, oh, I thought that you had breast cancer. I said, I do, but I'm not sick. So do you understand again that mindset of a different way of thinking? I would never own the breast cancer. It invaded my body, and I made sure it left my body. It was not welcomed in my body. So I encourage each and every one of us, including men, to have breast cancer checkups, mammograms, have your tissues checked. In my book, Squeeze My Tatas, a gentleman who I met at a Tennessee medical convention shared his story with breast cancer. So his chapter is in my book to let men know that it is also possible for you to have breast cancer. And as long as we completely take care of ourselves and stay on top of things, we could all be as blessed as I am. And we could get through all challenges in life with a healthier, more peaceful mindset. Does that make everybody feel better?
Yes.
Absolutely. How many of us have arguments and disagreements with others in our lives? It's human nature, isn't it? If I could share with you a way to have a much healthier, heated argument, would that not help you and the other party or parties involved?
Yes.
Would you like to hear those tips?
Yes.
Wonderful. So as soon as we feel a heated argument, discussion happening, and we feel our blood pressure rising, who's with me on that? I want us to now understand the meaning of break. And I want you to share this with the person or the people that you're having a challenge with, okay? I did a video, and hopefully you'll find it on Facebook, okay? And you could share it with the group so they could share it with others that they're having challenges with. And it's the Happiness Jungle tips of how to have a better, happier, heated discussion before it gets into that raging fight. Because we all are entitled to what we feel and what we think, but sometimes we just need to adjust because whatever the other party is saying just might be valid enough for it to change us a little bit. And that's what the Happiness Jungle is all about. It's all about living life and changing all the time. I believe that we could treat, like myself, old dogs, new tricks. Y'all with me on that?
Yes.
I am a believer of that. I don't believe that any of us are just stuck in a rut, right? So when you feel this heated discussion, argument, disagreement, starting to really go, oh my gosh, the first thing that most people do is they fight over one another, they start screaming at one another, and nobody hears what anyone is saying except we happen to pick out the selective words. Isn't that true?
Yes.
So I want us to eliminate this from this moment forward. Do I have all people to say from this time forward, I will practice this law of attraction to have a healthier argument? Yes? Yes, yes, yes? Thank you so, so much. So, you're feeling this argument happening, and you know it's not going well. The first word that I want you to share is break.
Right.
And when everybody hears the word break, because they have also watched this video that Sonia will share with everybody, everybody understands it's time to pause and not say one more word to each other. Not one more word. You pretend like you have duct tape on your mouth. And all because words are hurtful, are they not?
Yes.
And sometimes we say things out of anger, we don't mean them, but can a word ever be taken back after it has left your mouth? And it's a possibility that it could stay with us for the rest of our lives. How many of you have ever been told something and it is still with you today in the back of your mind? So we're going to eliminate that today. Number 2, learn how not to do any name calling. No name calling. Name calling is harmful. Is that true?
Yes.
Can somebody share with me, as we let it leave our mouths for the rest of our lives and never return, some hurtful names that we would call one another?
You're so stupid.
Woo!
Very harmful to kids. Very harmful
Yes.
to kids.
Yes, it is very harmful. It's harmful to adults. And what you said was what, Catherine?
You're so stupid.
You're so stupid. Solomon, can you think of a word?
Yes, I can. Mine is a little harsher.
That's okay. Let it out because you're never going to say it again.
Yeah.
You're ignorant.
You're ignorant. Oh. Annie R. Sloth? Slowful.
That's slothful.
So what does that mean to you, Annie? What does that mean to you? You're so slow. You don't move quick enough.
Deadbeat.
Wow. Deadbeat. Annie M.
Goofy.
Goofy. That could hurt someone's feelings, right? Sonia.
You're just ridiculous.
You're just ridiculous. Out of control. Georgia.
Yes.
What word would you like to share with us that you're never going to use anymore that could have been harmful to others? And maybe you didn't use it. Maybe it was said to you. We have stupid, we have ridiculous, we have slow, right? Slowful, and we have goofy, and we also have ignorant. And we also have ridiculous. And what about you? What word would you think?
O-bomb on the cone.
Huh?
A bomb.
A
A bomb.
Oh.
Okay, all right. I don't use any of those words in my life anymore. I have a dictionary of words that should never be used and words that would fill in the blank. Another word that we use or that we have heard is idiot, dumb, and so forth. So when we use these words, we absolutely start creating harmfulness in others.
Well, it's like a magnet.
And it's like a magnet, right? It just like, boom, it's there. So, okay, what is the word that we say when the heated argument is starting? And break. No name calling. No more saying another word to one another. Okay? Everybody in the disagreement and the discussion has a point of their own. And I want everybody at this time, not today, but at this time when this argument is happening, I want everybody to get a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay? And I want you on your piece of paper, and they'll do the same on theirs, to write down the component that is most important to you about this disagreement. What is it? For example, are you talking about your exes too much? the children? Is it finances? Where should we go? What should we do? You're not doing what you're supposed to do. What is that? Laundry, dishes, helping clean. Does everybody understand their list now? Okay? So we want to make sure that we're writing down, because we're no longer talking, we want to write down what is the most important component of this disagreement for you. Once you have written down all of these components, I want you to skip a few lines, and I want you to write down what would you like the resolution to look like. The end of mind. You write that down. Now, when the other person is done and you're done, you're going to take each other's papers and you're going to exchange them. You are now going to agree not to say a word to one another. You're going to agree to come back together after you're able to process each other's feelings. And you're going to share with everybody what time are you coming back together. Because how many of you have felt that when you're in an argument, we leave and we have no idea when we're going to see the other person again? Anybody else? We leave. Well, I'm out of here, right? I'm out of here. With no time to be back, to be present. So at this time, when we exchange papers, we are going to set a time that we are going to rejoin. It could be 5 minutes or it could be many hours from now. Because some of us have chores to do, we have to go to work. During this time, I want you to read the other person's most important components of this argument. And then I want you to read what their solution and end of mind would like to be. Now here's what happens during this time. We become more compassionate for one another. We now have read, so we have heard, versus we have screamed and heard nothing. I know for a fact that this method works because I have used it several times. It's absolutely gives us all a better peaceful mind. Once you have read the other person's components to the disagreement, right? The challenge that they were having. You don't do laundry, you don't go out with me, whatever it is. You're not doing your homework, you're not whatever that is for you, okay? And because, Catherine,
Yes.
because I have received your paper and we were having a little bit of a disagreement, right? You call me names, right, on that paper. So now I take her paper, and on the back of it, because she also has my challenges to this disagreement, what my important components were about my issues with this disagreement. So she's also thinking about me. So do you understand how we can become compassionate towards one another in a much healthier way?
And sometimes it may be easier said than done.
What's that?
The situation.
Yes.
On the situation.
Yes, it's absolutely true. Sometimes it's easier said than done. But during this time, if we don't pause and take a break from one another, it doesn't resolve itself healthy. One person ends up giving in just because they want to give in and stop the fight, and their words weren't respected or considered. So I'm here to share with you that this is a wonderful way for us all to be able to collaborate together and be more passionate, more kind, more thoughtful to one another. And when we come back together, things will be different, I hope. So, now that we have read each other's components, what they would like to see change at the end of mind, I want us to turn over the paper on the other side, and I want us to write down what we would like to see, because you've now given a lot of thought to this person's feelings. You have put yourself in their shoes. because everybody's feelings are real. I didn't say you had to agree with them. That's not what I said. But they're real. And when we can understand the communication and what the other person truly is feeling, we can come to a better solution when we stand in their shoes. Right? So on the other side of the paper, I'm going to write down what I'm willing to do to help this argument be more peaceful and end with a hug and a kiss. Well, it's now we set a time to come back together, right? I didn't leave you. We didn't just exchange papers and said, see you later. We came back together at the time that we said we were going to come back, because abandonment is a horrific thing when you don't know when things are going to change, right? So when we exchanged papers, I said, Georgia, it is now 9:30 in the morning, and I have things I have to do. Let's get back together at 5 o'clock. Does that time work for you? And now we know, and we'll meet back here in the living room, okay? So we are going to rejoin at 5 o'clock with the papers. When we sit down, we are going to smile at one another, look each other in the eyes, and hand each other back the papers. Somebody's going to say, who wants to go first? Excellent. And I will allow Solomon to go first. What Solomon is going to do is, we've already seen what the challenge was, haven't we? We don't need to discuss that anymore, right? We have thought and put ourselves in the shoes of the other person, so we don't need to go back to the dark. We're now moving forward with the light. And I am going to read Annie R's solution. I've turned it over, and I'm going to read it out loud. And whatever that is, I'm going to say it, because it's on the paper. Now, it's Annie M's turn. And Annie M is going to read what I wrote on her paper on the back, because now we're all about coming back together, being more joyful, and having a healthy discussion about it. So Annie, you're going to read me what you would like to see, and from this point on, we are no longer going to raise our voices. We are going to discuss how we're going to move forward, not go backwards, because now it's time for forgiveness. And forgiveness is one of the most powerful things that you could do in your life. And I want to share with you that forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for yourself. Congratulations for knowing that. It is for yourself. So you could set yourself free. The poison is no longer within you. One or two things are going to happen. You're either going to see eye to eye and come back together, or you're going to agree to disagree. And you might have to do it again, the exercise, until the communication is a healing communication. Does that help everybody?
It does, but I got a question.
Does anybody? Yes, it is a skill, and practice makes perfect. I did not become the way that I am overnight. But it's called the slight edge philosophy. If you practice what I share with you a little bit every day, then within a matter of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, by 90 days, it's now a good habit.
Yes.
So when you feel like you're going to say something bad or harmful, hopefully you'll catch it before it leaves your lips, and you're going to start training yourself to learn how never to use those words again.
But then I have a question.
Yes.
And it's a good thing this topic came up because yesterday, an incident happened and, I never said anything to bring this disagreement on.
Uh-huh.
But I was like being accused of something, and I said that didn't happen. Okay, so then they said I said it, and I said, look, I don't care about nobody telling the truth on me, but don't lie on me. And so we left. And on our journey, I said to my husband, what happened? And he said, no, that's not what happened, because I'm sitting right there. So he said, I'm gonna say. So then I didn't say anything else. I just didn't say anything else. We were silent. So on the way back, we stopped at the gas station. And he pumped gas, and he got back in the car. I said, look, don't say anything until the other person. I said, just leave it alone. I said, because in my spirit, I feel like that I need to talk to this person. I said, because I might die tonight and not get a chance. So when we got back, they both got out of the car, and I asked that other person to come back outside. I heard her say, I don't want to talk to her. So what do?
You don't pursue her.
Mm-hmm.
You do not chase.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when we're in an argument, would you believe the devil is present?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, should we stick and stay, or should we go, I forgive you? You don't have to verbally say it. In your own mind, say it to
Exactly.
yourself,
Exactly.
and say, when you're ready, I will be here.
Right. And then this morning, I said to myself, I said, you know, Lord, I pray for things like this. I said, but the devil can't make me another way.
Yes, because the devil is disguised.
Kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
That's the mission.
Yes. So did I help you with learning how to use a different technique?
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
you're so glad that I
Yes.
spoke about this
Yes.
today, huh?
Yes.
Oh, Georgia, thank you so much.
you.
Solomon,
I like to just add some parallel information from my life experiences.
yes.
I've worked in the educational community, and when students come to college for the very first time, most of them, particularly the millenniums, don't have coping skills. So during orientation, and I was a resident director, I would always tell them, right now you're in the honeymoon. What happens when the moon stops shining and the honey ain't dripping? So what I'm going to give you today are some coping skills. It is your responsibility to teach others how to treat you. And when you don't say something, they're not going to know. And if you when you're silent, it means you're in agreement with what's going on. You know. And my mother always told me to verbalize at the right timing. Sometimes it's best to be silent depending on the emotion that's involved. So the way I've learned how to put out fires, and from the example that Lyn-Dee gave us today, was I cut through the chase and I says, what need can I meet for you? Anger is the manifestation of a need not getting met.
Yes.
So we get to the point where he says, what need can I meet for you? And if that person is not ignorant, they'll be able to verbalize what it is they need from me so they can be in a good space. That always works for me. I have a roommate in my house. He tried to bait me last night because one of the policies is no loud music. This guy has broken every rule in the book. Every rule. So he decided, since I was playing music last night while I was cooking my dinner, I thought we're not supposed to be playing music. I ignored him. I didn't say anything because then now I have the power because I'm not succumbing to his level of anger, you know, or he was trying to bait me to get in an argument, and I'm just a peaceful person.
Amen.
I ask myself, do I want to be right or do I want peace?
Amen.
Okay, so I didn't go there with him.
Thank
And this
you.
morning when I was leaving to come to work, he said, "Oh, bro, I'm sorry about last night." I said, "I accept your apology."
Amen.
Yeah.
Isn't that joyful?
Yeah.
And I love what you said about, what was the term that you use? Because I always like to say, how can I serve you better?
What needs
And
I
you
need?
said, what need can I meet
Mhm.
for you? I love that. So thank you, Solomon, for sharing that. You see, we have solutions. He could have reacted and really gotten crazy, but instead he chose a silent response. I applaud you for that, Solomon. I'm very blessed. I get to speak at schools. A matter of fact, I was hired to go and speak at a charter school in May, and it gives me great blessings. I speak from children all the way to the adults, and it gives me great value. And today I've had the pleasure of being with all of you. So do you feel that this assignment will help you? I think so too.
Absolutely.
I think so too. So I really, really appreciate you, all of you, participating with me today. As a matter of fact, I get to give each and every one of you now a happiness balloon. Yes, and when you blow it up, you will understand to always be joyful and
Don't
happy,
worry, be happy.
right? Don't worry, be happy. Yes, yes. If you all will go ahead and pick up your happiness prescription cards, I'd like to go over these with you. Is that okay?
Yes.
How is everybody feeling since I have arrived?
Good. Really good.
Thank you so much. So, number one, recommended daily dose. Choose lifestyle actions every day. Can we agree to that? Yes. Live in the now. Who would like to read the first one?
Pause, breathe.
Pause and breathe. And we just discussed that, correct?
Yes.
Just pause. No more verbiage. Just take a deep breath, right? So let's all take that deep breath together. And let it out very slowly. Doesn't that make you feel much calmer? You take that breath as much as you need to until you feel your calmness, because I don't want high blood pressure anymore. I'm all about helping people remove meds from their medicine cabinet. So all of these exercises are practice with purpose for a better change, for a better tomorrow, for a healthier you. The next one, what is the next one?
Laugh daily.
Well, we didn't finish.
Journal self-growth.
Journal self-growth. So what I mean by that is that it's like a diary. At the end of the day, when you could write down what it is in your journey, in your journal, you get to read it again, and you can change what you want to change and appreciate what you want to appreciate. At the end of the day, when we're going to bed after we say our prayer, I want us to lay our head down and go to sleep, yes. But before we go to sleep and visit our dreams, I want us to appreciate and acknowledge the accomplishments that day, not what we didn't accomplish. Do you think that'll help you go to sleep easier?
Yeah.
So many of us go to sleep with saying, oh man, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. Who's with me on that? Amen. So from this moment forward, every night for the rest of our lives, we are going to say, I am so grateful that I accomplished taking out the trash today. If that's all we did. Okay? We want to appreciate, acknowledge our accomplishments. What's the next one?
Meditate, relax.
Meditate and relax. Now, there are a lot of different forms. Some of them are with our eyes closed, our feet crossed, sitting on the floor, listening to some very... Another way is just sitting on a chair and just looking at something and going into kind of like a daydream status, if you will. And just remember to breathe. The breathing is one of the most important parts of relaxation. So, for me, because I can't close my eyes and meditate, I go into a lot of different places. So for me, I sit on a chair and I find a focal point, right? A visual point, and what a blessed picture to be looking at right now, right? Right? And I breathe, and that's where I am. And it helps with clarity, peace, calmness, anxiety. Okay? So will everybody agree to do one form of meditation that makes you feel good?
Yes.
And it is important that you're in a quiet area. That is very important. But meditation doesn't have to mean that you gotta do yoga. Put your leg over your head. I don't think I can do that. Yeah, right? What is the next one?
Nutrition, eat wisely.
Yes. We just got over one of the sweetest holidays of all, which was Easter. Yes, right?
Yes.
And I know for a fact that I put in my body a lot of sweet stuff, right? Easter is my favorite holiday in the world. Passover is also my favorite holiday. I was born a Jew, I'm going to die a Jew, I'm not convertible, but I do coexist in this world, and I also speak at different congregations.
Okay.
So it gives me great pleasure to be invited, right?
Right.
So I get to celebrate all holidays.
Okay.
All holidays. My daughter, who is now 33 years old, she's granted me with 4 beautiful granddaughters, her and her husband. Yes, yes, yes. And we are a coexisting family. When my daughter was born, my first husband was of the Catholic faith. She was baptized in church, and then I ran her over to the shul, and we got her named in shul too. I don't play. Oh, what is the next one on the list?
Laugh daily.
Are you guys ready to do a little bit of laughter with me?
Yeah.
When we laugh sometimes, it has to start off simulated because there was really no reason to laugh. But the more that we do it, you know what happens? It becomes natural. So would you like to share a moment of laughter with me?
Sure.
Can I get everybody saying amen?
Amen.
Amen. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to laugh. Are you ready? You ready? How is everybody feeling now? Oh, wow, right? All my troubles went away, yes? Thank you for sharing laughter with me. So the first thing on the Laughter Daily is what?
Smile in the pages.
Are you okay? Do you want water? Solomon, I can get you water. All right, all right. So let's smile at one another. Look at these beautiful faces. Look at those beautiful faces. Huh. Look at you. Doesn't that feel good? Whenever I am out and about, or even when I'm with myself, if I'm with myself, how do you think you could smile with yourself?
Think about something. Think of something.
Yeah, yeah. Go to the mirror and share a smile with you, because you deserve that. And if you're any place and somebody is sitting there, how about a nice compliment to them? Right? Georgia, you're absolutely beautiful. Catherine, I love your outfit. It makes you just blossom. Solomon, your smile Your personality is contagious. Annie R., your colors make you shine like the angel you are. Annie, that necklace around your neck makes you the most unique woman, and you are very special. It's old. Bethel, you are a shining light back there.
Absolutely, yes you are.
And Sonia, that green ponytail in your hair makes me smile. How did that make everybody feel?
Good.
Right? When I walk in
Man.
the stores,
You are so adorable. I love your outfit.
oh, I'm adorable, and she loves my outfit.
And you're contagious.
And I'm contagious. Wow, thank you so much. I felt it. I felt it so much that I could even feel happy tears in the back of my eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Can you feel that?
Yes.
Can you feel the
Yes.
joy that has overcome within you?
Yes.
So can you imagine going to Walmart or the grocery store or the bank or the gas station or for a walk, and you see somebody and they kind of look a little bit sad, if a complete stranger, and you just said a kind word to them. Excuse me, ma'am, that's a beautiful blouse on you today. Excuse me, sir, you look sharp today. To a child, look at you. You have brightened up my day today. Right? Can it make a difference?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Got a letter one time from somebody because I gave them a compliment. I gave them a red heart. My hearts are known all over the world. I've been giving them out now for 40 years. The reason I know that is because I met up with somebody from my childhood, and they said, Lyn-Dee? I said, yeah. Lyn-Dee Levin? That was my maiden name, and I haven't heard that name in a long time.
So it must
And
be
I'm like,
something
whoa,
that.
this one is really from the past, right? Because I got married when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And I said, yes. And they said, oh my God, you are still the same kind woman. You gave me a red heart in high school, and I still have it. I said, shut the front door. So those hearts have been traveling for 40 years. I have been blessed to be in Africa for a month. I have many of my hearts in the country of Africa, throughout the United States, in Canada, in Cuba. I was just in Cuba a few months ago. So with all the places that I have been, my hearts are spread all over the world. And I do that because I just want people to have a calmer, more peaceful life. It really does matter, right?
Yes.
So what is the next one? And Laugh Daily.
Social fun, I think, no. Movement exercise.
Movement and exercise. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yep.
Right? How many of us do any form of exercising? Please never, ever forget to not exercise, because the older we get, the statement that is the most true is if you don't use it, you lose it. So even if it's walking down the hall and back, right?
Right.
Think happy thoughts, play music,
Oh, yes.
sing songs, play games.
Yes.
One of the greatest memory games that we could play, and there are many, and they're children games. Do you remember the memory game where we put and you could do it with a deck of cards, because that's what we did when we were kids, right? And you put the cards face down, and then I picked up a pig, and I had to find the other pig, the matching game. What an amazing game for our memory. The other thing that I love for people to do is word search.
Oh, I do that.
Okay, make sure we're doing word searches. We could go to the Dollar Tree store and pick up all these books for $1. Okay, if you like numbers, what is that? With the box, skidoo, skidoo. What is it? Sudoku. Do you play? Oh, you see, it's great for the memory, right?
I like
Crossword,
solitaire.
solitaire. That's very good. As long as we keep using our minds, right? Not just reading. We want to read. We want to always read, but we always want to also exercise our mind. We want to exercise our bodies. Who likes to dance? Play music. Play music, and even if you have to dance alone, you start dancing, someone's going to come over to you, right, and dance with you. Just do something every single day to make sure that your bones are not deteriorating, okay? It's very, very important. It's very, very important. What's the next one?
Social fun.
Social fun. What about like game time, right? In this area right here, you can have games at each table, and you can have them where it's like 30 minutes for each table to play a game together, and then you go ahead and you switch. Or how about just getting in a circle and just talking about a joyful time, right? All of these things are social, right? Participate. That's the key. Participation. If you're not participating, you're not going to feel as happy as you could be. And it is up to you to do all of these activities. It is nobody else's responsibility to have you do any of these participations but you. You have to make that final decision. What's the next one?
Gratitude, attitude.
Gratitude, attitude. Always be grateful. If somebody holds the door for you, if somebody picks something up for you,
Thank you.
if somebody smiles at you,
Thank
you smile back. Yes, yes, yes. Gratitude. If someone does something kind for you, just out of the norm, thank you. If somebody thinks about you, I'm going to the kitchen, can I get you anything? No, thank you, but thank you. Or yes, I would like, right? How many times do we not hear gratitude?
Oh, yeah.
So let's always be. So I want to just say thank you to each and every one of you for inviting me here today.
You're welcome.
Oh, I feel like so blessed. You have made my day complete. Each one of you. Each one of you. So thank you. What is the next one?
Love day of the
Mm-hmm. What's the first one?
Purpose.
Yeah.
Your why.
Your why. So what do I mean by that? What is your purpose in any relationship that you have? Why are you in the relationship? Good, bad, or indifferent, right? We have choices to make. For that woman that you had a disagreement with, Georgia, it's okay to let her go. Not saying it out loud, I forgive you.
Right.
And you feel better. And I greatly appreciate that you have your husband to speak about this with. Some of us don't have partners to talk to about the challenges that are going on in our life, and we have to figure it out on our own. And that's where Lyn-Dee Eldridge, your Chief Happiness Officer, comes in. All right. All right. What is the next one?
Friends
Friends
and
and
family.
Friends and family. In my book, Tears of Fears Behind Closed Doors, you're going to learn how my family was more of my enemy and my friends were more of my family. Pretty crazy how that happens, right?
You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family.
That is absolutely true.
Georgia, I need you to come out of my mouth.
So, yeah. That's fabulous. So, as long as we could go back to what I was sharing at the very, very beginning about heated discussions. Love your family, love your friends. Choose who you want in your heart of hearts, and forgive the rest.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Absolutely.
What is the next one?
Community connection.
Isn't that powerful? Do you know that I meet so many people that don't even want to come out of their homes? They just don't want, after they go to work, that's it. They just want to go home and that's it. Is that really healthy?
No.
Sometimes it is, right? Sometimes we just want time for ourselves and that's all good. But when it's done 100% of the time, that can't be healthy because people need people. Yeah. I have a very, very good friend who's also a speaker and an author, and her name is Patricia Rogers, and that is one of her businesses. People helping people. Right? And it is so true. Yes, we need our alone time. Absolutely. Who doesn't need alone time, right? We all need alone time. But community connection, what else is it that you love to do? If maybe it's playing backgammon, just for the argument's sake, and you don't know anybody in your community, why don't you put up a note and say, I'd like to start a backgammon evening? And see how that works out. So do you see how you could also start healthy connections of having a good time, a joyful time? Anybody else have any other suggestions for community connections? Yes.
I moved to a new community, and one of the things I did not like was the amount of debris throughout the community. And so at the community meeting, I introduced myself and I said I'd like to start a new policy. And on Saturdays now, the kids in the community, we all get together and we go around, we pick up trash out of the community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about making a difference, right?
Because I grew up in a community where there was no trash. We policed ourselves. If we had trash, we brought it home and put it in the trash can. We didn't throw it in the streets. And so I brought those values to the new community that I live in.
Wow.
Yeah.
In
How
our
powerful.
In our church, we have a deacon who, I don't know what Saturday morning it is, he comes out and he get the kids in the community and they
Absolutely.
pick up from here to here.
Yeah, that's what I do. We just go around the community.
Oh,
pick
you
up trash.
see, I love that. See, so as a community, we could truly make that powerful impact and that difference. That's great. Thank you so much. And what is the next one?
Kindness, acts of charity.
When you give, I always share with people, this is one of my favorite lines, and it's something that I live by every single day. If I help enough people get what they want, I know in return I will always receive what I need and want.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
That is
So
What-
kindness.
Yes, what you make happen for others, God make happen for you.
Amen.
right.
Amen.
Yeah.
How spiritual is that? So within closing, does anybody have any questions for me?
And where did you say you live? Where do you?
I live now in West Fort Lauderdale, in the city of Sunrise.
Oh, okay.
My
Yes.
nieces and nephew just moved in Sunrise.
Really, where?
I don't know exactly where, but I have your number. I'll call you.
Yeah,
and let
yeah.
you know.
And the reason that I relocated here from New Hampshire was for my mom. You know, because I didn't want to just have her be in an assisted living and then me come
Right.
every
And they'll
3
see
months,
you,
4
yeah,
months,
see
6
you.
months, oh, maybe I can't come right now. And I do have 2 siblings, and
So,
my story is the same as many.
yes, yes.
But I know, when she passes,
You
and that could be in 10
calm.
years, I have no regrets,
No doubt.
I have no doubts, and karma is a blessing.
Yes, it
It
is.
is,
Yes,
it is.
Karma
it
is a blessing. So any other questions?
No question. I just want to say that what you did, my best friend, my god sister, was diagnosed as terminal small lung cell cancer, and she would come to me, and then I would come home because I worked 12 hours, so I had length of time to come home, and she lived with my mom. So I sit to my table one evening, I came from work, and I said, now, my mama can't take care of her. I said, because she don't have no knowledge. When something happens, my mom say, what you want me to do? So I sit to my table, I wrote my resignation, I went back to the hospital and slid my resignation up under my nurse manager door. I got me a U-Haul. I came home. I took her to all of her radiation treatments, all of her chemo treatments, and I just had a peace.
That's right. It does help us have more peace, right?
You know, this is what really helped me, and I believe that most human problems arise from a lack of communication.
Oh,
Yes, so, but what I had to learn in that process was to be quick to listen and slow to speak. That really helped me. That really helped me. You know, not wanting to be right.
Right,
You know, but
right.
the part of communication is two parts, speaking and listening. So I had to make sure that I was understanding what you were saying before I respond. Because most people listen to respond, not to understand.
Absolutely.
You see, so you got to make sure that you're on point with your interaction with that person, so we'll all be on the same page at the
That
end of
is
the day.
absolutely true.
That's a
Again-
valuable lesson that I learned.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, it's a learning skill.
Yeah.
Listening is power. The one who talks the most loses.
And if everybody's talking, somebody's not listening.
No one's listening.
This is
Right?
right.
No one's listening.
And
Right?
a lot of times, we had it in our English class, you tell somebody something, but when you hear it back,
When it
it's
gets around, it's a
totally
whole
different.
different
Like
story.
that Chinese,
It's about perspectives.
yes,
Yes.
yes, that
Yes.
Chinese telephone.
Yes. And that is why the exercise that I shared with you will help resolve a lot
It will.
of challenges.
It will.
Yes,
Yes. So with that, everybody, if no one else has any other questions, I want to just say thank you so much
Give
for
Lyn-Dee a round
inviting
of
me
applause
here.
and thank her for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lyn-Dee. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so
We're
much.
sorry we didn't have more.
Solomon?
Hi, my name is Solomon. I'd like to say that Linda today became a ray of hope and sunshine in our lives. She was the light at the end of the tunnel. What she provided for us was a way to solve our problems and be happy. Be happy.
What about you, Annie R.?
Well, and I want to say she appreciated Lyn-Dee very much because she opened my eyes to a lot of things. You know, I do have like a testimony. God kept my mother healthy until I retired. And then I was her sole caretaker. And I put my life on pause so I could take care of my mom. And I thank God for doing that. And after I got off pause, I still was like self-contained because I was like in that mode. And finally, last week, I finally got rid of her clothes. So I'm coming forward.
Congratulations.
Great.
That's wonderful
Great.
because you deserve to live your best
I
life.
sent the clothes to Haiti.
Yeah. Oh, you see the giver? What about you, Annie M.?
Nancy, I learned one thing today. I would like to get a pink band because I am really the peacemaker in the family. I said green because I did see pink. I love green now, but I really like pink and gray is my color.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm the
Yes.
peacemaker.
I really do
When
believe.
everything is over with,
Yeah,
you live
I
in
do
Florida,
believe
bye.
that you
keep
are
that
pink.
girl. Thank you.
Boy.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
What about
Great.
you,
Hi,
Georgia?
my name is Georgia, and I learned today about a previous situation that Lynn helped me to understand and to move forward.
Thank you, Georgia.
And my name is Catherine, and I want to say I'm so glad you came today because we had topics that I probably wouldn't have maybe gave too much thought of, but you brought it all out, and I'm so thankful.
Thank you
And
so
I'm
so
ready
much.
to laugh again, ha ha.
Good.
And Sonia, what would you like to say?
I am Sonia Hall, and I thoroughly enjoyed the happiness presentation. There's so much information I can take from here and apply at home. And now I'm feeling much better, and I'm looking at things much better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lyn-Dee. I'm happy you came. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Would you like to say anything? Sure.
My name is Mother Lucy Green Bethel. I'm glad you came today, and I'd like to say something about on the way here. My granddaughter was driving me. She just had a wreck and hit from the back, and we were coming on the roundabout here. And this nice big car, because she has like a PT Cruiser, he would not yield to us. We were in the roundabout, and she was looking, and he was, and we're like, I said, Dominique, he's gonna hit you, so just stay still. Because I don't need you hit from the side and you just got your car back, and mine's at the Ford place. That's why she was bringing me, and I'm gonna ride back with the other Annie, because I didn't want to miss, I missed Thursday, and I didn't want to miss another, because I'm getting so much out of these seminars that over the years that I didn't know about, and health-wise, I have different ailments, and I'm learning a lot from that. But I do have a wonderful regular doctor, heart doctor, and eye specialist to help with situations, so I don't have to hog everybody's time. And when I said to you that I don't like to be called, I don't like my first name, so I'd rather be called Bethel if you're gonna use first name.
That's right.
Right. Thank you. Coming in.
Thank you so much, Bethel. I appreciate you.